little
Hey,
wooden
there's
box. Looks wooden, but as your eyes kind of focus, you can actually see that this box is actually a skull, and the skull, the lid of the skull is opened. So it's like a couple of skulls lined up and attached together to make like a box. And the
Dark.
the lid, which is the top of the skulls, are all folded back. I'm changing this all
Darkness. I
around.
see a weird skull-shaped box inside there, and there's a purse in there too, sitting on a ledge. Maybe we should light up a torch for you so you can see it too.
Yeah, because I can't see anything.
Yeah, you
Let's
were
get a
just able to
torch
see
going.
the. Yeah, you were just able to basically see the actual hole behind the moss. You know, the doorway.
I'll light up a torch and go in and start checking this stuff out.
Be careful. That box looked kind of weird, Darkness. Check. You might want to check it out before you go in.
What are you guys doing?
I'll get you back.
I'm already in there. I'll leave and owe me to talk.
Oh,
So yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I think we found a spoon, guys.
As you go in there, dark enough that you definitely
Lord.
do not find you do not find a spoon.
I'm
Definitely
especially.
do not.
I guess I checked the purse to see if there's anything that can tell me what the skull box is.
It's basically four skulls that are attached together to make a small chest, and all of the tops of the skulls have been cut perfectly, and they're hinged, and it's basically an open chest. So at least you know you don't have to search for one. It's open already, at least.
That just makes me even more skeptical. This isn't my first time dealing with these kind of things.
Right?
I want to check closely for any kind of anything fishy.
All right, give me an investigation check. And as you're looking down into the box, it probably looks like it probably would be worth about 100 gold or so. And inside of this box, you can see that there's a wand, and there's some gems in there too. And it looks like there's about 1,000 gold worth of gems in there. And then as you're looking, oh wow, it looks like there's some exquisitely made. It looks like sling bullets. You're like, wow, don't see these very often. And then there's the little small pouch as well. And it looks like this pouch or purse is made from one of these different not dragons, but dinosaurs that you've seen roaming around on Schultz. It's made out of like a triceratops type of hide.
I'll go ahead and try to. If I didn't see anything weird, I'll go ahead and try to grab it all up and bring it out and be like, I found some weird stuff. This seems uninteresting to me. I mean,
Sure.
other than these gems.
Yeah, with your
Which-
investigation check, you're fine. Your first investigation.
In my head, I'm
21.
thinking I debated pocketing these gems, but I don't want to be that kind of guy. These guys have been all right to me so far.
Well,
What's up,
Well,
Your
you put
Highness?
the-
What'd you find?
yeah, he puts the pouch and he comes out with this skull type of chest, which looks really cool. And he's carrying it, and you guys can see that there's a purse, a wand, a bunch of gems, and some sling bullets.
What do you guys make of this stuff? I mean, I guess I keep forgetting that I could check out this wand now too.
Yeah, let's see if it has any writing on it, Darganeth. I'll look it over with Darganeth.
Talking about the wand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wand.
Yeah, let me really quick. Yeah, the wand looks like this.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah. It
Quipper
is
wand.
a wand that has, yeah, exactly. It has a quipper head attached to it. A couple of feathers hanging down small wooden rod.
Or a cock-a-quipper.
Well, why don't we just put it in the pack for right now and get out of the sludge and try to identify it later.
I won't disagree with that.
All right, but that's everything that you found down here. Looks like a part of a dragon horde. But everybody's you guys are looking. You notice some quipper bones up at the top as well. So what you guys are able to ascertain is this dragon, and plus you guys could actually, there was a small little story engraved into one of the walls by a couple of goblins that actually survived the battle. And this dragon was named Ormalagos, and it was an adult green dragon, and its nickname was Needle. Well, this was her grotto or lair. And these goblins, which were part of the Batiri goblin tribe, they basically found the location, found out the dragon was basically storing a lot of loot down here. Well, as Needle had grown, they had been watching Needle for a couple of years also, and Needle wanted to find another lair. So Needle started transferring all of her treasure, which was actually a lot more at one point, to her new lair. Well, as Needle left one day, and this is how the Batiri goblins tell the story through, Goblinoid, they waited for her to leave, and then they took tons and tons of quippers and threw them down into the water. And they wanted the quippers to attack Needle as she landed, and that's when the goblins attacked as well. So it was a huge fight between Needle and the goblins and quippers, and pretty much everything died except for a couple of goblins that basically just couldn't get back out of, couldn't get out of the grotto, and they basically ended up telling the story but died later on because they just couldn't get out and died of starvation. So now that's the story. You guys find the loot, you guys are able to get out, and what do you guys want to do now? Is you found some sling bullets, a wand, a bunch of money, and in fact, I'll go ahead and give you guys the money now. There was 100, and inside of that pouch, that pouch that was made out of the Triceratops hide, there was 100 gold and 800 silver. It was a pretty fat pouch. So I'll give you guys the money now. Everybody gets 16 gold, 166 in gems, and also 133 silver. So congratulations, everybody. Then don't forget, you also have the bullets and also the wand to identify.
So we'll identify those when we'll continue on and then identify those when we make camp.
Okay. You guys are off to the wreck of Narwhal next, right?
I believe so, yes.
That'll be about another day and a half worth of travel. So if you want to go ahead, and whoever's doing the random encounters rolls, why don't you guys go ahead and roll those in the dice tower for me. First day is uneventful. Second day, halfway through the day. Go ahead and give me that second. And we'll go ahead and we'll take 18 days worth of rations off of your total out of the bag of holding. So you're down to 74 days worth of rations, and you consume 6 a day.
Did we identify the wand in that time?
Yes, you did. And you actually identified the sling bullets as well. And I'll identify those in the combat tracker. So the skull box is going to be worth about 100 gold. So if anybody wants to keep it, or if you guys want to keep it or sell it later on, it's worth 100. The sling bullets are +1. So they are +1 sling bullets. And they're +1. They're actually +1 to damage sling bullets. And I actually wrote that on the sling bullets, and there's a total of 5 of them. As for the wand, The wand is the Wand of Fear. And here's the image again. And this wand has a total of 10 charges, and it does not regain any expended charges. So there's a total of 10 charges on this Wand of Fear. And I've put that actually on there, so ignore the regains expended charges. So if you basically expend a charge, you can, for one, you can do a command, and for 2 charges you can do Cone of Fear, and then there's some other special notes too. So the items that I'm going to be giving out from here on out will probably just have a set amount of charges, and then will basically be useless after the charges are expended. So there you go. That's the Wand of Fear, 10 charges. And that is everything that should need identifying in the tracker. You guys have a bunch of other stuff too. So
Who would like the wand?
If nobody wants it, I'll take it. I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah, it'd be a good sorcerer item. Does it require attunement?
I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Let me reopen it again.
You have to jump start it.
Yes, it does actually. It says it does require attunement.
Can you take it 0 or?
Yeah, I could take it. I don't think I have anything attuned.
Oh, cool.
It's a Vorn.
Yeah, but I don't think Vorn
That's
actually.
the amulet.
I don't.
That's
Well,
just the amulet.
does the amulet does require attunement though, right? Does it?
Mm.
We'll have to look that up afterwards. I don't think it does though. I think it's just a control amulet. But we'll take a look after the game. So, all right, adventurers, you guys want to head to the wreck of the narwhal, all right?
Yep, we'll head there. I'll put some special spices in our food the morning that we're planning on arriving there, and cast a Spoon of Courage spell on everyone.
Oh, that's
Sure.
a spicy biscuit.
So you guys make it about halfway through the day, and you make it to this wreck. And this is basically, it's an airship that has been literally broken into pieces, and it's in the heart of the jungle. You know, parts of it are lying upside down, and you know, you can actually see that on the underbelly of the ship there's a lot of barnacles. And so this is not only an air vessel, it was a sea vessel too, and because of, you could tell by the barnacles. So your mouth starts to water, of course, Shen. But this is a galleon. It's a large ship, and you can see that it has, in common, it says narwhal written on.
Did you say airship?
A water vessel / airship, yeah, yeah. Because you can see the old the balloons are, and it looks like it's been fairly recent since this thing crashed, and you can also see that there are a bunch of these little veggie pygmies. You know, these small, I mean, these things are tiny. They're just maybe a couple feet tall. And they look like ants on the ground, but as you get a little bit closer and they see you, they scatter. And you can actually see that there's a couple of makeshift cages, like prison cages, that have been constructed out of like vines and pieces of wood and whatnot. And you can see a couple of figures that are slumped down inside of these prison cages as the veggie pygmies just scatter into the woods. It seems like they want nothing to do with you.
Let's take a look to see who's in those cages, guys. Do we all want to go, or do you, Dargneth, or do you want to check it out first?
Yeah, I'll do my thing. Unless Vey wants to go with.
I was getting bored, so yeah, let's do it with.
Let's go
All right.
check this out.
So whoever's approaching the encampment, and there's a couple of fires and a couple of cooking pots that are hanging from these tripods. But like I said, the veggie pygmies, they scatter. So give me, whoever's going up to the encampment, give me a stealth check. I guess that would be they and Darganoth. And you can do those in the tower or not.
Oops.
That's okay. Very nice. Both of you sneak up like lynxes in the night, or panthers in the night. And as you get up to these two prison cages, they are a couple of scurvy-looking sea dogs, and you guys are able to sneak right up on them. Do you introduce yourself to them? Do you tell them shh or whatever? But you guys are able to stealth right up to them, no problem at all. Nice rolls.
Follow his lead.
Oh no!
You did what?
I said, "Oh no."
You know what?
I'm a guest to the group, so I'm following Darganoth's lead.
All right. So what are you doing, Darg? Are you going into the camp, or?
I want to try to I always like to observe first before making myself known.
You observe that there are no pygmies around. They have all scattered once a couple of them saw you. And the two persons that are in they look like scallywags for sure. One of them has a bandana on his head, and he also has a peg leg. And the other is a dark-skinned gentleman, and he looks like he's been... Actually, both of them look like they've been roughed up pretty good as well. And they're both kind of slumped over, and they don't even notice that you're there. But like I said, you notice there's a couple of cooking pots, a bunch of supplies that were probably on the ship, or in boxes and crates and barrels and stuff too.
And so they're just slumped over up there.
Yep.
I feel like I missed like a detail, or they look like prisoners, I guess.
Well, they're in prison cages, so obviously they're not guests of honor.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I'm sorry. I think I zoned out for a second, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. I missed that one detail, which is pretty key. So I'll try to sneak up to them.
Okay. So which one do you sneak up to? The gentleman with the bandana and peg leg, or the darker skinned gentleman?
The darker skinned one.
Okay, you sneak up to him and you get his attention, and he says, where am I?
I'm gonna try to signal to him to keep it down, though.
Oh, he says, I need more rum. Oh, he says, who are you?
We're either friend or foe, depending on how this goes. How'd you end up here?
We took a couple of a half orc and a bugbear with an eye patch and a pirate hat and a peg leg. They commissioned our ship, and this is back in Kitcher's Inlet, to the north of here. And why am I telling you? Anyways, they needed a ride to Port Nine Zaru, and it's an expensive trip. It's expensive to run these airborne ships with the magic, but they had lots of gold, and they paid our captain, and our captain he graciously took the money. And then as they wanted to stop by this place in the heart of the Cholts, some place called Omu or something like that, before they headed back to Port Nine Zaru. But then all of a sudden there was a mutiny on the ship, and it was led by this half-orc. They took over the ship, and then he denounced our captain and then introduced himself as some captain. I think his name was Captain Marcus, and
interesting.
He had there was a bear bug with him, and it was his first. He introduced his first mate as this Wilbur, and he's a bugbear, and he could actually talk.
Oh.
And then to top all of this off, he had a little spoon that was talking and had these beautiful baby blue eyes. I mean, they were just absolutely mesmerizing. And then he looks over towards the other chap in the other cage, and he says, "Crispy Pete, tell him what happened." And then this other guy comes through and he says, "Yeah, let me tell you exactly what happened. Oh man, this bugbear came on, and I've known Wilbur for a long time. He was the first mate of Captain Ahab. We came from another world called the Dragon Empire, and we just sailed into some type of mist that carried us here to Faerun or whatever this world is called. But everyone on our ship died, even the captain, even the great Captain Ahab. He even died. And see, I'm the cook of the ship, you know, and my favorite dish, my signature dish is seagull. But there's no seagulls around here for me to cook. So, oh my goodness, it's just been absolutely crazy since we've been here on this in this world. And then he just kind of passes out, slumps back over.
I'm gonna look to the guy and be like, if you could just go ahead and
Crispy
never
Pete.
ask your friend to talk again, that'd be great.
I've known him just for. He says I've only known him for a couple of months or so, but they say that they came here from another world, and it's absolutely insane that a bugbear can talk. And this captain, I mean, he had an eye patch and a captain hat as well, and the whole ship was in his. He was the best captain that I ever saw, but then he took ill and died, and then we had another. There was a fight on board to whoever wanted to be captain, and so then we had a captain, and we were talking about renaming the ship to the Blowhole, but that never happened. So and then all of a sudden we took on this half-orc. And then he got it. I guess he conspired with the crew, maybe paid him off, and there's a mutiny on our hands. And now this Captain Marcus is in control of our ship. And Wilbur betrayed everyone, and he's still the first mate. And they have this spoon, and they said that they were gonna. And in fact, the mutiny was so brutal that we crashed here, and then Wilbur and this half-orc and the spoon, they got away on one of our little floating dinghies, which was a balloon, and it looked like they started going towards Port Nyanzaru to the northwest.
Dave, I dismiss myself and I go get the others.
Okay. Sure. They comes walking back up to you guys that are bushwhacking back there.
I tell them the first part of what they were already telling us.
Okay.
All about the captain coming through the mist, another world, the spoon with the baby blue eyes.
A spoon?
Come check this out.
Spoons. Alright, I'll go back with they so everyone's together.
Yeah, so that basically they tell you the same story again.
That's gotta be Mr. Spoony, guys. It's gotta be. Now we know you said he was heading towards Port Nyanzaru?
You think it's
Yes.
Mr. Spoony and not like some other walking, talking spoon with blue eyes? Are you sure?
You make a good point there, Faye.
Maybe we should verify verify who that really is before we
Too good. There could be multiple spoons out here, guys. I mean, there really could. Yeah, they got on one of the little dinghies, one of the little boats that they have, and floated off, started making their way towards Port Nyanzaru. But the ship is actually literally destroyed.
Just makes me sad.
That's it, guys. We gotta follow this up. How long ago was this, guys? I ask.
It was 3 days ago. So they should be probably getting pretty close to the port now. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do there. I have no clue. Hey, you're not gonna leave us here, are you? Are you gonna set us free? Are you going to take us with you?
Oh yeah, I suppose we should cut them down.
Oh, me, always the good guy.
So what do you think,
Okay.
adventurers?
If this is Mr. Spoony, guys, we gotta get to Port Nyanzaru as fast as we
I
can.
love his voice.
Hey, you know what? We could fly there.
Oh, I know.
On a
I
dinghy?
On our wingy.
Well, actually, Ashara, he gave you guys, he gave you a scroll with the ritual on it. So all you will have to do is read the scroll, hold your hands together and do the basically the ritual. Yeah, you'll have to do the chant, and then you'll grow wings, and you can basically it'll take 3 days from here to get to Nyanzaru. Wow. How it just works out perfectly, huh?
Hey, and you said a half-orc named Marcus?
Yes,
That's-
he denounced the captain, and he said he was going to rename the ship the Blowhole. But then we wrecked the ship, and of course that didn't happen for him. But yeah, he announced himself as the new captain, as Captain Marcus, and Wilbur, the first mate, our owlbear first mate. He actually was still the first mate, so he was in cahoots with Captain Marcus this whole time.
I mean, that sounds like our Marquesh. He always was such a blowhole.
That sounds exactly like him. We gotta. If Mr. Spoony really is the soulmonger, like the Oracle told us, we need to get to Port Zaru as quickly as possible, guys.
for you to say.
And Crispy Pete comes to again, and he goes, "Hey, do you guys have a captain? Huh? Do you guys have a captain? Do you need a cook? I can cook anything. I can cook the best seagull in all of the land."
I'll just look to Shen.
Nobody likes seagull.
Oh, have you ever had it before? How do you know you don't like it if you never had it?
Tastes like chicken.
That's what they all say. They say seagull tastes like chicken. But if you need a cook, I'm your man.
We could use a cook, maybe.
Well, sign me up.
Come along, Crispy Pete.
All right.
How are we gonna bring them along exactly? Who's gonna carry them?
Carry them?
The ritual
Put
will
'em
work for
over,
as many
Boris-
people that's
Boris
doing
shoulder.
the ritual. So you can actually
Yeah,
give
all you
them
have to do
wings
is
as
read the
well.
scroll.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So let's gather around and get this ritual started. Is there anything else you want to do here first?
I need to take a poop first. I don't want to fly 3 days without pooping first.
You could poop and
That's
fly at
true.
the same time and just bomb it on someone down below. Just try to aim it right.
What the birds feel like.
I don't think I'd be comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. No, just
Pre-flight poop. And then join up and touch everyone's hands as we hold hands in a circle.
how's this ritual go? Kumbaya, my lord.
Yeah, we have to hold hands.
And you guys all hold hands and go home and do your ritual in about 10 minutes. Poof. Everybody has wings, including the 2 captors that were in the cages. 3 days. No encounter rolls needed to go to Port Nyanzaru, by the way, because you guys are, flying up into the air. So you guys don't need to worry about encounter rolls.
Yes, here we go.
What formation you guys want to fly in?
What formation? Like the
Whoa,
V
duck.
formation?
Information.
Towards the port.
You know, I saw this.
Basically the way on the broom.
Born.
Yeah, because I've already pooped.
I read this one book that says you're supposed to hold a spoon out in front of you for stability while you're flying.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that type of witchcraft.
It's some voodoo.
As I flying broom.
That's too good. All right, so you guys fly with Crispy Pete and the other seaman. You guys can give him whatever name that you want. He'll be one of your crewmen on your ship. And we are back in Port Nyanzaru 3 days later. You guys are back at the harbor. The harbor ward. And guess what? You guys have your ship.
Yay.
The Lord's Alliance. Anybody remember the name of the person involved for an inspiration that carries over to next time? Or maybe, shall I say, a B word?
Spoiler.
I didn't say it. I said B word. I said B word. I didn't say that. But you have a
take the opportunity to say, "Whoa, spoilers!"
Whoa,
Quickly
spoilers!
running out of a chance to do that.
Yeah, so you guys have your ship. It is a Crumster, and this is basically the ship that fills the gap in between the sloop and the brigantine. And even though the ship is a little less maneuverable than the sloop, you can carry more guns and you can carry more cargo. So these are pretty much used to escort frigates and warships. So you have a speed of 3, a turn speed of 10, a top speed of 10. You've got a great toughness of 16. You can have a total of a 20-man crew. You have 6 cargo spaces, which is actually a lot. You have 4 guns on each side. You have 8 guns. Well, you have a total of 8 guns and 2 masts. And the gentleman with the Lord's Alliance says, here is your heavily armored 25,000 gold piece ship that we promised you. And here is the deed, here's the title, here's all the paperwork that you need. And then he looks at you and he says, all she needs now is a good seafaring name, as he hands the title and the paperwork over to Shen. And also, Crispy Pete says, oh, if you're the captain, you need one of these. And he reaches down into the front of his pants and he pulls out this spyglass and he opens it up and he hands it over to you and he goes, here you go, Captain, a spyglass. This was Captain Ahab's, but seeing that he's not going to need it anymore, I figure you'll need it.
It smells a little vinegary, but you can just kind of gloss over it.
Gingerly take it from him, kind of holding it out. Okay, thank you.
Sure. It is a spyglass, and obviously you can spy from quite a ways away, and it'll pretty much, whatever appears will appear and double in size from what you're looking at. So you now have a captain has got to have a spyglass, Captain Shen.
Yes, we do.
Was that his correct name that I typed there?
Who?
Oh, the Lord's Alliance guy that put us on the
That
ship,
is the guy. Yep.
West.
That is the guy. So you'll get an extra B when we play next time.
Extra B words.
Nice.
I said B. I didn't say what it was. So
That booty.
yeah, you guys have a Crumster. 8 guns. You've got plenty of cannonballs. You've got some supplies on there. You can also carry 6 cargo spaces, which is a ton of freight. I mean, you can do some side work and maybe take goods back to the mainland. So what do you guys think as you guys are back in Port Nyanzaru and you now have your ship, your Crumster?
I say, gather round, everybody, gather round, while we christen the Crumster the Spoon Slayer.
Oh, the
Hey.
ship is called the Spoon Slayer.
Moon Slayer. Hey, that's a good name.
That is a
Wait.
good name.
Wait, Chen, does that mean it's a spoon that does slaying, or it goes and slays spoons?
You'll figure
Whatever
it out.
works at the time.
The
Mr.
First
Spoon
one,
is the
then
bad guy.
other.
Just get on board.
Yeah, first one, then the other.
Unbelievable. I love it. The Spoon Slayer. It's a good name, actually. Better than the Blowhole, I guess.
So We could hang out around the port and spread out and try to get some leads on Marcus and Mr. Spoony, where they might have headed
Better
off to.
than the Indestructible too.
This could have been the Indestructible 3, Vay. So as you guys by the end of the day, towards sunset, you actually find out that this new captain came in and bought another one of the captain's ships from him, paid gold, straight gold, bars of gold, and they set sail a couple of hours ago, just as you guys were pulling in and getting your boats. And they left the harbor. They left Nyanzaru Harbor, and they're going out to sea for some reason. As you know, and you check with the ward master, and he said, yeah, they left probably about an hour and a half ago. And he calls over towards to the gate, where the big chain is there that comes into the harbor, and he calls to the lighthouse, and he says, can you still see the ship? And he says, yes, it's just off of the horizon. So yes, you guys know that Marcus's ship is fairly close.
Shen, is the crew ready to go?
I would hope so. If they're not, then we shall sail our own ways.
So you start ringing the bells and getting a crew on there, and you find how many crewmen do you want to hire as well, Shen? We'll talk about that next session, because of course you're going to have to pay your crew, of course.
Yes.
So you can have a total of 20. You have a total of 8 of you, and 9 including Vorn. Vorn will go with you if you want Vorn to go with you. You can pack him on the ship in one of the cargo holds.
Zero, would you like to bring Vorn along?
Oh, definitely. We could always use a backup.
All right.
Yes.
So I guess you start ringing the bells, all hands on deck, and you start to try to chase down this pirate ship with Marcus on board, and Wilbur the first mate, and also possibly Mr. Spoony.
Yes, to sail.
All right. So as you start to take sail, you actually have a pretty... It's not the fastest, but by the time the sun goes down, which has been a couple hours you've been in chase, you actually start to make way on chasing down this ship Zero. So you are probably within spyglass range as the sun is starting to go down, and you can start to see the windows of the ship in front of you, probably named the blowhole. The lights start to come on, and you pull out your spyglass, Shen. And as you fixate onto the blowhole, you can see on the poop deck, on the rear of the ship, you can see Wilbur, the first mate, this owl bear with a pirate hat. You can see that he is steering the ship. He is captaining the vessel, and you can see, looking back at you on the railing, you can see Marcus leaning up against the rail, and it looks like he's leaning down. As you kind of move the spyglass down, you can see Mr. Spoony, because you know what Mr. Spoony looks like, and it looks like Mr. Spoony and Marcus are talking to one another. So you are following the correct ship, Shen. And they know that they are being chased as well.
This is our query.
So about another hour goes by, and it looks like you're making really good speed, and you're catching up to the ship, and you've caught up to probably within a couple miles of the blowhole. And then all of a sudden, Shen, the winds really start to pick up and off on all of the horizons all around you, because by this point you can no longer see land. You can no longer see the bright colors and the lights coming from Port 9 Zaru. So, the winds pick up, a storm ensues. And these are hurricane types of winds. And the ship is really starting to take a beating. And the sails start to rip from the mast that are, your double mast ship. These you guys are in pursuit. So do you want to?
Well, I can repair those. That's my broom. I can fly up there and repair them.
Sure, that's up to you, Captain Shen. If you want her to do that, she'll do it.
We can make repairs after the winds break down. Furl in the sails. Take down the sails.
Okay, so as you're taking him down, Shen, one of the center masts, it gets caught, and the mast and the sail will not come down, and it's tangled at the very top where all of the gears are, and the pulleys. So yeah, it's not coming down, and it's just flapping, and you can actually hear the mast starting to crack. But one sail you got down.
I'm not gonna ask what he wants. I'm gonna get on the broom, and I do have a dagger, so I'm gonna fly up there with the broom and cut it loose.
Okay, that's a good idea. So give me a. Actually, you don't need to give me a check, because as you're going up there, you take your broom, you fly up. You're getting this thing.
Mast crack.
Oh, absolutely. And as you get this thing cut, there's like a burst of wind, and all of a sudden one of the beams comes around and literally hits you. And you guys can see this as she's up there. She basically saves the mast. Vey does. And when she cuts the rope, the mast, it goes flying off into the darkness, and then all of a sudden you see this beam come around and hit Vey, and Vey gets hit. She gets knocked off of her broom, and her broom go flying off into the darkness as well.
Oh, wait, what happened?
You get knocked off of your broom, and you are off into the darkness.
I don't suppose I still have that fly spell, huh?
Do you have a fly spell?
No, I mean the ritual, and that wore off.
Oh, yeah, that wore off because that took 3 days to get to 9 Zaru.
Good thing I have my cape then.
What does your cape do?
Oh, it's the water walking and water breathing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, can you imagine walking on those huge, massive waves? Oh, my gosh. Oh, that would just, like, throw you and smash you into the next one. Oh, God, that would not be good.
I kind of picture it as kind of like
Foosball.
she can kind of surf the waves while she's water walking. Surf with her feet.
Yeah? Oh, man, that would be hard, though. That would require an acrobatics check on every single wave. So anyway, you guys see Vey hit, and she just goes flying off into the darkness. And you guys call her name. Nothing happens. She doesn't answer. And the storm gets so bad that you guys start to, tie yourself up to whatever you can, tie yourself so you're not thrown overboard. And these waves are 30, 40 feet high, and everybody eventually gets knocked out. Everyone does. So all of a sudden, you don't know how much time goes by, but everyone starts to come to. And when you come to, everyone, you feel the sun beating down on your face. And you hear birds squawking, seagulls. You see seagulls flying around. And as you come to, you look up and you can see Crispy Pete trying to chase around these seagulls and catch them. And you're on this strange beach, and you can see that things are just scattered everywhere. Boxes, crates, bags, And several miles down the shore, you can see your ship is up on the shore, and it's kind of leaning towards one side as it's been beached. So as you're all starting to come to, what are you guys doing? Because everybody is now awake, and like I said, you guys are absolutely starving. You're so thirsty. You don't know how long this has been, and you guys are now on some strange shore that you've never seen before.
Shen,
I think we need to take care of the necessities, food and drink. If we have anything, search the beach for the wreckage to see if there's any food available, water available, and then make the trek back towards the ship.
Well, just as you start to search for food and water, and you're looking in these crates and whatnot, all of a sudden you see a little girl, and there's jungle all around you. So there's, you're on the you're on the sandy shore. Everything is there, and there's a gap of about maybe 25 to 40 yards between the beach and a jungle like tree line. And out of this jungle, all of a sudden you start to hear, "Help, help, help," and it's a little girl. And this little girl has a bandana on, a red bandana, and she's running towards all of you yelling, "Help, help, these things are going to eat me." And as you look behind her, there are several of these velociraptors chasing her. So, adventurers, this is where we are going to end tonight and pick up in 2 weeks.